Now that you're signed into Google Classroom, let's walk you around some of the basics. So first of all, click on the plus button up here and you can do one of two things. You can either join a class. As a teacher, you have two options. As a student, you only have one option. Students can only join classes, but as a teacher, you can join and create. So I'm going to click create a class and I'm going to name it Second period world history. I like to put everything up here in the title. I could put the section down here. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to click create. And then it's going to take me to the feed. And again, because I'm in a new district and I signed up with a new account, it's having me walk through, if I want to, a tutorial, but I'm going to skip this stuff. Now, this is your stream. This is where all your assignments will show up. And that is under your stream. That's going to become pretty long as the year goes on. I'm going to show you how to help organize that. You have your students tab. This is where you can invite students. There's two ways you can invite students. You can either put the class code up on the board or email it out and they can join that way. You can click the invite students and type their email in and put it in that way as well. That's an easy way to invite students. I like to put their email in, or at least I used to like to put their emails in because I would collect them and then I would put a whole batch in at a time. Unfortunately, you can't do that anymore, so it's one email at a time. So this year, what I probably will opt for on the first day having them sign in is to use the class code, and I'll just approve them as they come in. All right, in the About section, it's just got what your class is all about. When you create a class, and he creates a folder for each class, you'll get a parent folder for Google Classroom. Let me see if I can show you that really quickly. So there's my parent folder that it created for me. And in this folder, I have my first period and second period. So once you start creating classes in Google Classroom, it will put in the background in your drive a classroom folder. And then it will, for every class that you have, it will create a folder and then it will organize those automatically for you. It's really great. It does it for the kids as well. You can invite teachers. So if you want to have a SPED teacher or if you're co-teaching, you can invite a teacher and give them different permissions if you want to put your principal or whoever on there as part of the class as well. So that's really it for the first look. Now I want to go over some, let's go over adding an assignment because these are your two essential things. So first of all, if you click on the plus button here, you have plenty of things to use here. I'm not going to go over the reuse post. Let me stay open. I'm not going to go over the reuse post, but what that is if I want to reuse an assignment or a question or an announcement, I don't have to redo everything. I can just reuse it. You have options. You can create a question. So if you have a question at the end of your class, maybe it's an exit ticket or whatever it may be, a discussion question, you can create a question. You can create an assignment and you can create an announcement. So an announcement that you would create well, let's just create one. So I click on this and I'll go over some of the differences. Now, the announcement, what I can create is, I don't know, whatever I want them to do for the day. It might be my list or my agenda. I can assign this to all students in my class, and I haven't added any students, or I can just pick individual students. So maybe there's some students that you want to push ahead and say, hey guys, I want you to go beyond what we're doing in class. Or there's some kids who maybe don't have everything turned in. You can say, hey, make sure you get your stuff in. You can create a topic. So if it's maybe we're talking about Rome or it's Unit 1, whatever it is, I can create a topic. And then I can attach different things. This would be a link to a website. This would be a YouTube video. This would be something from your drive or any type of attachment. So let's attach something from my drive really quickly. Let's see what I have here. I only have one thing I can add, and let's add it. Now, the big difference between announcements and assignments is when I attach things via an announcement, it's all just view only. The kids can't edit it. Now, one of the beauties of, and I'll get to assignments where there's different editing permissions. Now, the beauty that they put onto this now is you can schedule this or you can save this as a draft. It'll automatically save as a draft, but the scheduling is really cool, especially with assignments. If it's something you don't want the kids to do early, like if you're Sunday night, you're doing it and you send it out, it's going to send them an email. You'll have some kids that'll jump on there and start doing the assignment and then come to class and say, well, I'm done. Well, the cool thing now is you can change the time and date when you want that assigned. So if you don't want the kids to see it until Monday morning at 8 a.m., you can make it Monday morning at 8 a.m. All right, so that's an announcement. I'm just going to delete this because I don't want it. Let me show you the difference between announcements and assignments. So assignment title. One thing I highly recommend is to number your assignments. And I use a 3-digit number system because you're going to have a bunch of assignments on here and there's going to be just a big stream. If you number them, they're easier to find. You can use Control F to find them or just knowing the assignment number. I'm going to name that Rome. Have the same things as an announcement. I can do all my students or certain students. I can do all my periods at one time or just one period at a time. I can give it a due date. So it'll tell the kids when it's due. And you can also give it almost a due time as well. Not almost, you can give a time. And that's really helpful. You can, again, give this a topic, same thing. You have the same attachments or links, videos, drive, and attachments, adding buttons. Now, here's the difference, though, in an assignment. So again, this is going to take in a second. Now, when I attach a Google Doc to an assignment, I have several different permissions I can give the kids. One is view only, so they can, maybe it's just instructions, and I only want them to view it. The second is can edit. So this would make everybody that you give this assignment to have editing rights. So be careful with that one. If it's something you don't want them to edit as a class, don't give them all editing rights. Or this is really cool. This makes a copy for each student. Now, the only warning I give you about making a copy for each student, and it's not a big warning, is that once you've made a copy for each student, you can't go back and edit that. And what that means, it's kind of like going to the copy machine, but it's an electronic copy machine. So if I send out this spreadsheet to everybody and go, oh, whoops, I had a typo, or whoops, I need to add something, it's not going to change on everybody else's. But they will all have their own copy that they can edit themselves. And then again, I can schedule my assignment. I can save it as a draft, or I can just assign it right away. And that's it for your basics of Google Classroom to get started.